Hello, Magic lovers. So today, you get a gift from me. This was a product that I was going to release with a magic company that just never seemed to get off the ground. It never seemed to happen. So today, I'm going to teach you for absolutely free a card to impossible location. And this card can vanish from the deck and appear in someone's pocket. It can appear on the ceiling, in an orange, wherever your imagination may lead you. So I really hope you enjoy, and if you enjoy the video, please like, share, subscribe, etc. I'm actually going to lead into the little demonstration that actually has a performance at the end with this is what I sent out. So, and also the tutorial that I sent out. And then after the tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So we'll get into that as well. Enjoy. Have you ever wanted to perform a card to impossible location, perhaps a card to pocket, but you don't want to use a palm and you want the card to actually vanish from the deck? Well, you're in luck. That's exactly what I'm about to show you. So go ahead and grab a deck of cards and start shuffling them up. And you're gonna have the spectator tell you stop at some point. Let's say they say stop right here, show them the card. The rest on top. Then you can hand the cards out and have the spectator shuffle them up if you like. Or you can shuffle them up yourself. But the fun part is not only can you have the spectator shuffle the cards, but you can then show instantly that the card has vanished. So you can either spread the cards out on the table or give the cards to the spectator and show them that their card has vanished. And the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And then you can have it reappear anywhere you'd like. So maybe I do something like this, and the card will appear. Okay, but on a serious note, you can make that card appear anywhere you'd like, and it really will be gone from the deck. And specifically, you can count out the cards, and there will be exactly 51 with one card missing.
So, what are the benefits to this method? Well, there's no palming necessary whatsoever. The cards can be shuffled by the spectator. The card vanishes with nothing to find. You can show the card missing from a spread or within the spectator's hands. The cards can even be counted to show that there's only 51 cards with one card missing. And the card can reappear absolutely anywhere, only limited by your imagination. Also, the gimmick hides in plain sight. And by the end of everything, you're left with a deck of cards that is completely usable.
I'm gonna have you pick a question. Don't you can work up. Now you pick any card that you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and go through the cards a little bit and then dribble them a little bit. I want you to say stop at any time you want to. Guys, take those. Stop. Right? Go to the card. Got it? Take the card. Move it back into the deck like this. Alright. Let your card? Yes. Okay. The card here and make the card be something amazing for me. Hold him out. Like me. Hold my finger on top. Ready? I'm gonna take your cards. It's gonna turn into a bunch of little cards. Alright? Just like that. Take a look. Okay, you see it again. No way. There's you see it when you showed it to me, the deck, and you like this. Take it back hard. Stop down.
Hello and welcome to the tutorial for the Palmless card to impossible location. All right, it's a mouthful. That's a working name. So obviously, because you guys are in the know, it's a gimmick, right? So the gimmick is actually pretty simple, but it's also very versatile. So meaning I can use this gimmick for multiple things. It's invisible to the spectator. The cards can be shuffled by the spectator. But essentially what it is, and it's right here, it is a mispipped index card, right? But this mispipped index card is also altered to the corners. You can barely see it, but the corners are actually altered, so they're corner shorted, but they're also rounded off. They have to be rounded off in a specific way so they won't be noticed by the spectator. So this allows you to force two different cards. You can force the King of Diamonds in this case and the King of Hearts. That can also be changed. I really like the face cards because when people are looking through the cards, they can spread out pretty far all the way. So just to give you an example, let's go right here. They can spread these cards out pretty far. So, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Nobody's going to be spreading the cards like that, but they can spread those cards out pretty far and not see anything. And that's the beauty behind this. Corner shorts, obviously, so you're dribbling the cards, they stop, and you'll be forcing that card, and you hit every single time. It's very easy. Not only, there's other applications, but having the cards set up, and what I usually do is I take out, I have an extra one there, but I take out both of the King of Hearts and King of Diamonds so I can decide which card I'm going to set up. And sometimes I'm setting this up by placing it in someone's pocket. Sometimes I'm placing it in my own pocket or in other various locations, card to seal in, you name it. The possibilities are truly endless when you have a dupe like this. So obviously, once the card is chosen and shown, you just have to keep in mind, which side is which. So you get that card forced, right? And let's say in this case it is the King of Hearts. You can then give these cards to the spectator. Right? They shuffle them up, give them a little bit of an overhand shuffle, and you can kind of gesture towards that. And this card can still always be found, but a slight glance here, you can actually see exactly where that card is. So if you want to force it, you very easily know exactly the location of that card. So I know right there, I'm a little bit short of where I want it to be. So I would just cut over a little bit more cards, and that should be exactly where we need it. And I usually do about a quarter way down from the top. Just say stop anywhere. They say stop here, and force the card. Now, once that card is put back in the deck and shuffled up, there's many different ways to do this. You can shuffle the cards like this if you'd like. And right there, I just reversed the card. So that card is gone. You'll actually see the King of Diamonds now. Right? That my preferred method, however, is once the cards are given back or the spectators are shuffling it up, just say, fan the cards out just like this and say, do you see your cards here anywhere? And they're gonna say yes or no. If they say yes, it's actually a little bit more of a psychological subtlety because they are looking at the card. Like for example, they see the King of Hearts here, right? So they're seeing the cards and okay, now as I put the fan back, I hand them the deck. So once I do this and they now have the deck in their hands, you're gonna tell them I'm gonna make that card disappear. And it starts to float up in small little particles or whatever, kind of lines you wanna make. And as they go to look through the cards, that card will be vanished, right? So all you have to do is keep track of orientation. That's it. And of course, setting your card up anywhere you like. You have your duplicates. And then once you're all done with this, I actually like to live with this in the deck because I use it to force cards all the time. And you don't have to use it to force specifically that card. For example, if you were to dribble the cards like this, you could just force that bottom card. And then you can utilize this as a key card also. Shuffling the cards up, right, just like this. And then you know exactly where that card is, right? So you can utilize it like that, and you don't have to dribble the cards neither. You can just kind of see where it's at, cut at that point, boom, and I'm already cut to that card there. So there's lots of reasons why somebody might want to keep a card like this in their deck. But once you actually have that other card that was forced returned to the deck, now that that card is returned back to the deck, if I were to take these cards and shuffle them up, right, and spread them out, it would appear as if we have all 52 cards in play. And we do have 52 cards. It's just one of them is slightly altered. So this is the gimmick. This is how it works. Now, in terms of one of my favorite effect is putting the card in someone else's pocket. That can get a little tricky at times, right? Sometimes you just can't slip it in their pocket. Their back pocket is usually what I go for. Let's say, for example, that person's wearing tight clothing and you cannot slip that card in there or slip it into someone's purse or whatever the case is. There's a nice little psychological subtlety that I like to use, which is essentially so essentially one of the methods that I use for getting that card into somebody's pocket for later on in the show for a reveal is a psychological subtlety, which is more along the lines of a dual reality or pre-show. And what I do is I take that card that I'll be forcing and I place it right on top of the deck. And at this point, I pull someone else to the side before we begin the show, and I say, hey, I need your help with something. And then I show them a card by performing a double lift, and I say, I need you to take this card and put it in your back pocket. It's gonna come in handy later, okay? And I give them the card, and they place it in their back pocket. I then continue on with the show, get everything into position. I ask someone to say stop at any point. Let's say they say stop right here. I then show them the card. We lose it back into the deck. Shuffle the cards up. So let's say we go ahead and shuffle these cards up. So spread out the cards, whatever mode of performance that you want to go along with it. But you show that card, the King of Hearts, is right here in the middle. And this is one of the things I love about when they actually see that card, right? They see the card, it gets put in their hands. Sometimes I'll place their hand on top. And then I explain that the card is going to dematerialize, it's going to vaporize, end up in the air. And then I say, remember that card, the King of Hearts, because that card is now in your pocket. They remember that they had a card in their pocket and they're thinking, wait a minute, and I don't even have to see the card. So let's say I didn't know what the card was in this particular example. They say, wait a minute, that's not the card, whatever. Most people are not going to say anything. They're just going to reach in their pocket, and they're also going to be amazed because that card just changed. But to everybody else, somehow that card teleported from the deck into their pocket. So it's one effect for the rest of the audience, and then that person, they believe that card just transformed into another card inside of their pocket. So there's lots of different things that can be done with this. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the gimmick up close. So open the box. We have our two spare cards here, which are actually the duplicates to our gimmick here. Let's go through and find it. Here it is. All right, so this is the gimmick up close and personal. Okay. So as you can see, this side is probably cut a little bit more because I was experimenting. So this is what we're shooting for right here on this side. A nice, smooth, rounded off corner that is not very noticeable. So how do we accomplish that? Well, I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm gonna make one right here on the spot for you to look at. So first we're gonna start off by cutting the smallest amount off of your edge. You need a nice sharp pair of scissors. So it's not quite enough there. There we go, that looks pretty good. So as you can see there, do the same thing on the other edge. Okay, it looks like I might have bit off a little bit more on that side. That's okay, we're gonna fix that. So you have to over and over cut off the points. So we're gonna, every time we cut, you're gonna make new points. Sorry, so we went from those 2 points now. So now we have multiple points. And you have to just very slightly cut off the exact points that you've made. And this is a slow process, right? It's very slow. And you want it to round off those edges as best that you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be pretty darn close. So I see how I smoothed that corner off. Actually, there's probably a little bit more of a lip there here towards the corner that I can probably work on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I want that transition of the corner to be as good as I can get it. And you know what? That actually looks pretty good. Not perfect, but it looks pretty good. And you want to just barely trim on it. Sometimes it helps if you flip the card over a little bit. Hit it from a different angle. And let's get it a little bit right there. And there. That's actually what we're looking for here. So I don't know if you can see that. Try to get it in focus there. But that corner there, rounded off. So it started like this, nice and flat, and we rounded it off to here. Okay, now that's very important. I'm gonna try to get this in focus. Very important to get that edge rounded. And all I'm doing essentially, and you know what, I'll actually use this card to make it really big so you can see what I'm doing, right? So now that I've cut that edge, all I'm doing is cutting a little bit here. See how every single time I cut it, it's starting to get more round, right? And of course, this is a grave exaggeration. Please do not cut your card or your gimmicks like this. But this is just for example purposes. So you want to cut here, right? Here. At each little edge until it becomes rounder and rounder. Of course, this is not going to get that round because of the, limitations here with the when you're doing something so large like this. But just to give you a better idea of how this works, and like I said, you can turn it around, cut it a little bit more from the other side, just to try to round off that edge. And you can pretty clearly see, how much rounder that's gotten, right? Versus how it was at the beginning. So basically, all your little edges, you're gonna cut off your little edges. And I mean, that just shows you what we're doing here, how it goes from straight to rounded off. So, I mean, that's pretty much the advice I can give you on terms of that. When it comes to actually, forcing the card, you can kind of barely see it there on the edge. See if I can get let's see. It's very hard to see, but it's actually right there, right? Boom, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it every single time. So it will kind of like jump out at you as you dribble the card softly, boom, you'll feel it stop right there. And that's it. Now, I would suggest that you practice with a regular card or a joker or something like that to try to get those edges rounded off and get a good feeling for it before you actually move on to the mispipped index card, because obviously those are much harder to come by. So give it a shot, practice it, and there's a lot of things that you can do with this. All right, magic lovers, I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you did, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Magic lovers, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.